Howdy, my dudes. Got another build overview for you here, guys. This one's from Guillaume. First of all, he's got a few comments on here. He's got some pretty ridiculously high numbers. He's got 564,000 Ice Strike DPS. Well, we don't really care about the Ice Strike DPS. That does mean he's probably got some pretty good numbers elsewhere. Let's just hope he's not. Oh, he's got concentrated effect in there. Okay, so we're going to have some work on that. We're going to bring that Ice Strike DPS down because as you can see, he's 3-belling the T4 boss. And if he's got these kinds of numbers, he could probably be 1 or maybe even 2-belling T4 Zesht, no problem. Yeah, we definitely can improve this. That's no problem. He's even running Avatar. This will get improved massively. So first of all, Ice Strike, you got Martial Tempo, Concentrated Effect, Drop Concentrated Effect. You got Primal Armament, Rage, and Inspiration. It's looking pretty good. Get Overcharge. Overcharge is a more multiplier. That is going to do works for you. One other thing I saw in his tree here, I do like his tree quite a bit, but he does not have a controlled metamorphosis, but he comes pathing through here. So the first thing I'm seeing in here, if you got controlled metamorphosis, you could 100% stick it right here, and then you'd be able to get Wildstorm and expose the storm, and then, some other nodes. We'll get to that later. What I mean for that is, 1, Wildstorm, massively more damage. 2, exposed to the storm means you get 30% more critical hit strike chance if the enemy has lightning exposure. Normally lightning exposure is terrible, but if you lower the level of your Ice Strike, I know you have level 20 now, and I'm sorry, but if you lower the level to like a level 5 or something, you won't need Inspiration here, and that won't lower your boss damage at all, and your gear is good enough that you are not needing it for mapping. So then you drop Concentrate Effect, you drop Inspiration, you get Lightning Exposure for the crit chance, and you get Overcharge for the massive more multiplier you get from the Shock Effect. Then you still have the Rage in there. You can keep Primal Armament to help with the explosions in the maps. That's fine. You can change that around as well if you wanted to something else a little bit more supportive. But right now, Martial Tempo, that is great in there. Rage is good in there. And then the rest, I think you could swap around for sure. Your Charge Staff, Lightning Infusion. Do you have... you got some decent cold in there. You don't have any fire on your rings. That is another issue there. So Lightning Infusion is probably good on your staff for right now, but it might be less effective when you upgrade the build a little bit. I really like Neural Overload. I really like Electrocute. Leverage isn't bad. Leverage isn't bad at all. You could get something like Unbreakable or Unshakable, whatever it's called. The one that gives you the 200% more stun threshold if you need it. I really like that on Charge Staff now. I just kind of recently discovered it this week, and it is very quite powerful. It makes you much tankier than I expected it would for an ability that didn't seem to used to work well, and now I think it does work great. They must have fixed something. Anyways, yeah, I think Lightning Infusion would be the first to go if you get more fire damage on your build. And Leverage could potentially be used elsewhere, but it's a really good skill. I'm not saying take that off, that's actually quite nice. Now for Hell Device, you got Innervate, love it. Magnified Effect, yes. Conduction, Lightning Exposure. Oh, there you go. You can swap Lightning Exposure onto Ice Strike because it's not really doing anything there. Shock Siphon, love it. +1 skill over the lightning exposure, and conduction, again, that is potentially fluid if you have the damage, which I think you do based on the equipment I'm seeing and the numbers you have. Your Herald of Thunder with Cold Infusion, definitely. Ambush, Glaciation, Ice Bite, Long Shot, wouldn't change a thing, that looks great. Your Tempest Bell, unfortunately Rage Forge, I have noticed that you do not get the 10 rage stacks on the first bell drop, so it's probably not doing enough for you. Drop Rage Forge, you're at the level where you should be able to 1 bell, and so getting close combat. Heavy Swing is doing absolutely nothing for you. That is useless. Potential is great, Rising Tempest is great, yet you got Avatar. So you got Rising Tempest, you got Potential, you got Close Combat. Those are good. Drop Rage Forge and Heavy Swing. Put in Conk Effect for sure. Another good thing you could put in Primal Armament. You don't have the minions, so you can't use Minion Pack, but Primal Armament would be great if you didn't want to worry about that. If you finally get some fire damage on there. Then you can ignite the boss in a single hit easily with just a little bit of fire damage on a ring. And then you can put Immolate in. It's less powerful than Primal Armament, but then you're, not fighting with support gem pressure as hard, and it's still very quite good. Now you got Combat Frenzy with Perfusion and Clarity. Great support gems for Combat Frenzy, so obviously you're going to be using the Resonance tech. Yep. And then you got Blink with Ingenuity. Good. You don't need energy barrier on Blink. It's not going to pop when you're blinking, because when you blink, you're just going to get out of it. Arcane Tempo, I don't think that actually does anything for Blink. Ingenuity is pretty good. You could also use the one that increases the cooldown recovery rate and reduces it by a certain amount, but gives you 2 charges, so you could double blink. I can't remember what that's called, but it'd be better than these guys. Grim Feast is good. Mana Remnants probably solves your mana issues in bosses. You have enough here that you potentially could give yourself some mana issues with Elemental Invocation to double up how effective Rising Tempest is on your bell. Here it is, Rising Tempest. But I don't think you need it. I think you're in a good spot, and this probably feels really good with less pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got full 9 skills with no unset ring. So this here is probably going to do wonders for you. I know the dual charge tech, I preached it a lot. I still think you should have Charge Infusion, even just with power charges. I think it's actually fantastic. It super buffs your crit chance, and super buffing your crit chance is amazing with Under My Enemies. This here, probably the best node. I love it so much. So yeah, I think you should definitely get Charge Infusion in there. Probably drop Mana Remnants, and then put Mana Remnants in for Grim Feast when you're bossing. And that's like literally a one button click. That's not too much to ask, I don't think. Unbound Avatar with Cold Mastery, everything in there. Yeah, that looks good. You could put Persistence and Charge Staff if you feel like you have bad uptime. But overall, the only thing that I thought was kind of potentially needing to be taken out was Leverage, but it's not like Leverage is going to be going anywhere else. And 50% increased critical hit chance, that's like 5.5 extra crit chance. Base on there is quite nice to have. It's just, it definitely doesn't need to move. It's just something that could move. That's all I'm saying. Overall, I like your skills. The only one that's really poorly set up is Tempest Bell and Ice Strike. Unfortunately, those are 2 very important ones to have set up correctly. And when you swap those around, you are going to be one belling bosses almost guaranteed. If not, it's like one bell is like 80% of their life, and then the second one takes it out. And putting in Culling Strike on Charge Staff might just do the job to take it out for you. With these numbers, you definitely can do that. Your Tempest Bell just isn't set up properly with your Rage Forge and your Heavy Swing. Yeah. The rest I like. The rest I do very much so like. Now for your gear. This is obviously best in slot. That's fantastic. This is a really nice pair of gloves. You've got the open socket, so whatever you could use it for, just use it. There's no point not to now. It's a wonderful belt that you have, absolutely wonderful. I wouldn't suggest changing this or doing anything with it. 74 is a great number. Obviously, the higher the better, and obviously having a corruption on it would be nice, but you could... I'm too scared to corrupt Ingenuities, but I know a lot of people do. If you have the gumption for it, take Omen and Corruption and hit that and see what you get. It would save on potentially rolling it higher, and if you accidentally brick it, then, well, that sucks, but you seem to be rich enough since you have a ridiculously good Against the Darkness and a Verona Jewel. Your boots, unfortunately, are a bad base, and you got life on it, so this isn't going to be doing too much for you. The resistances are nice, the rarity is okay. You are CI, so these boots probably need to go pretty quick. It's going to be hard to replace them, but try to find a better base, because the higher the base, the higher the lowest, or the base for base energy shield, the higher it'll scale, obviously. And if you could get percent energy shield and flat energy shield with your movement speed, and honestly, if you have really good attack speed, you don't even need the movement speed because you just move around with Tempest Flurry, but I'm not going to say get rid of that. That's ridiculous. I just think you can definitely upgrade these for sure. Your chest piece is quite nice. You got 3 slots, 767 energy shield. That's mostly good enough for a lot of the base things you're going to get. But an 800 and something energy shield chest isn't too expensive with where you're at in the game. But this is still very nice. It's got triple roll on there with triple res, so that's probably taking a lot of suffix pressure off your ring. So I bet you're going to hit triple attributes before I look at them. If you're not, you probably could. As it stands, though, I think you can get a lot better chest piece, a lot more increased energy shield. And then this one here, it's a nice helmet. It's got rarity instead of more defensives, but if you're wanting rarity, I understand. You're probably not dying too much with 8.7 KES. This is just kind of nitpicky. You could get more, but I love this helmet. 35 int and huge resistances. Yeah, that's an endgame helmet. Great base, great everything. I love it. Now going for your amulet here. 18 to all res. Okay, so your amulet here, this is the first thing I'm seeing that definitely should be changed. I know it's got the huge energy shield and flat energy shield on it, and it has rarity, which you're probably valuing really high. With amulets though, like yeah, the all resistances is really nice, but you got very little attributes on there, just 17. There's one mod on amulets that is a must-have with every amulet that you'll ever get here for this build, and it's all attributes, because an amulet can get, I think it's 22 or 23 base, all attributes. That's 66 attributes. That's better than any other piece that can get attributes rolled on it. You need all attributes rolled onto your amulet. No question about it. If it doesn't have a high roll, all attributes, it's something that needs to be replaced as soon as possible. Now your rings. 15 all attributes, big strength, big int, big flat cold. This is a GG ring. You did fantastic. Love it. When you get too much currency, don't know what to do with, get an Omen of Willing and take off that chaos damage and hope for like some fire damage or some lightning damage or something. But yeah, this is a GG ring. You're not getting rid of it. This thing's beautiful. This is what I was hoping to see. And with this guy here, yeah, big cold, big... Oh, it's unfortunate. You don't have any fire damage. That's right. So this one here is definitely going to be giving you more damage because it's got the lightning and it's got the cold and it's got really nice attributes on it. It's really nice attributes. Oh man. And this thing here, the all attributes is a little low, but honestly this is fantastic. I would say probably swap this one out just because that all elemental resistances is kind of low. And you're going to find something kind of similar. Like you could sell this for a lot. Find something with some fire damage on it with the added damage as well. I hate saying this, but you're losing a 30% more multiplier on your bell for not having fire damage on it. The alternative, like you have such a good against the darkness. I can't say to take it there, because that you won't want to drop that for anything. I was going to suggest maybe percent damage as extra fire, but no, this is too good. You need to get fire damage on a ring. That's 30% damage multiplier on the bell, and it'll allow you to use immolation. Okay, so that's definitely the first big thing I saw. I haven't been looking at Mana Flask enough. I definitely need to look at those because sometimes Mana Flask just straight up nuke a person. You don't realize that it has take life off, but that's something to look at. Now for your jewel here, this is a beautiful jewel, except it's only got 2 good mods. You don't really care about the increased elemental damage. That 13% increased elemental damage is about the same as getting 5 strength, except for the 5 strength also gives you energy shield. So, and it also works with potentially Jack of all trades. So it's just way better than that could ever be, and this does not have attributes on it. You need to get attributes on your jewels corrupted. It's necessary. This guy here, fantastic. Maximum energy shield, crit chance, maximum energy shields, additional stun threshold. This is perfect. It's honestly got 4 useful mods, 3 of the best ones that you want to look for, but it doesn't have attributes, so unfortunately you have to look to upgrade it. Same thing with this guy. 3 amazing mods. The energy shield focus does not matter. The other 3 are great, but you need attributes. I'm sorry, this is so good, but you need attributes. Again, you need attributes. I love increased magnitude of non-damaging Oh, this is damaging ailments. That's not as useful. But it's still got 3 good mods there with skill effect, duration, critical hit, maximum energy shield, all good things. Your against the darkness is insane. There's Glip Breath here. Increase effective auras is really nice because it's not doing too much for you right now, but whenever you get Charge Infusion, it's like if you get level 20 Charge Infusion, it's 20% more critical hit chance. This would 10% would make it 22% more critical hit chance. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. You could think of that as like extra crit chance and potentially crit attack speed if you had both charges. You got a Verona Jewel, pretty nice. I don't know what it's doing for the extra mod, but always a Verona Jewel's a win. This here, again, it's got mana on kill, crit chance, energy shield, lovely 3 mods. You don't really care about the increased cold damage when you are able to freeze the bell and freeze mobs to cause chain explosions. But this guy here, again, not a single corrupted attribute on any of them. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate because these are mostly very, very good jewels, but they need attributes on it. I don't know how much they cost anymore. I bought mine back when they were cheap for the most part, but yeah, it's just rough not seeing any attributes on any of them. And yeah, I got no complaints about your Atlas tree. It looks really good. Looks really good. Yeah, I don't even need to look at it in too much detail. I mean, like, you could potentially put on local knowledge if you wanted to, but I've heard bad things about it. I like that. Now for your tree. Let's see here. You are the energy shield base with energy helmet and energy shield boots, but you didn't come up here to the very incredible insightfulness and 40% increased maximum energy shield nodes plus crit chance. So this is something I would definitely suggest going for. This actually isn't any extra points spent. You could put those 3 there, then use there. It looks kind of funny, but it definitely works. One thing I would suggest is get the crit chance over 20% increased damage if you dealt a crit recently. The crit chance does a lot more for you than this guy. Then you come through here, you path upwards, you got the crit chance again. This is the most important node for the build. You got all these nice attributes here. I love how you path through here as well. This looks really nice. One thing I would definitely suggest, since you have this pathing down here to come and get this jewel slot, like a lot of your jewels need to be replaced anyway, so get a controlled metamorphosis so you could get Wildstorm. Get exposed to the storm, not for the pen or the lightning exposure, but for the crit chance, and get lightning exposure onto your Tempest Flurry, and it does a lot. Then you can also get Serrated Edges, 10% more critical hit chance. You don't have mana problems as it is, so you don't need to worry about getting mental toughness. Now, one thing here, do you want 15% increased critical damage, or do you want 20% increased critical damage? I think you want 20% over 15, so swap these points around. It's kind of a nitpick, but it's 5% critical damage. It's good that you grab this node. I like coming down here. All this is really good. So yeah, a way to save points I'm definitely seeing. You're probably wanting to get this node here for 4 nodes to go with your really incredible Against the Darkness here. You don't have it yet though, so this is only 3 nodes. This is 3 nodes. Put the Against the Darkness here and swap whatever that is right here. Then you can take out these 4 to give yourself 15% more damage, 30% increased critical hit chance, and then 30% increased attack plus 10% critical hit chance. And that was 4 points, so you still even have an extra point left over. I know that doesn't sound right, obviously, because like you really want to hit all 4 nodes, but when you hit the next level up, you could definitely start working towards this again. Something to take out, potentially. Let's see here, what could you take out? Well, the other issue is, like I was saying before, you're not coming up here for insightfulness, and you're not getting all these critical exploit nodes. Where are all your points going? It must be because of the pathing here is costing so much, and you're pure energy shield, so unfortunately pathing all the way here, while it's nice to get all that extra dex and like basically just the dex, it's a lot of points spent that would be better spent elsewhere. I don't think this is doing it for you. These nodes are kind of nice to take. I mean, I know I put my large jewel here to take this one, and so in your current build, just getting Falcon Technique and Proficiency, you drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nodes, potentially to allow you to get your blinding flash, which is 7% increased attributes from your strength and dex total versus 8 of just dex. That's already more worth it for you. And then you'd save all those nodes as well. You wouldn't be able to obviously get the Wild Storm and Explosive Storm tech, but you'd be able to come up here and start working towards Critical Exploit and these guys. Yeah, I feel like you just can't afford this pathing here because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, but then 4, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more points putting in there. That's 10 points if you took it out and just put in the controlled metamorphosis here to grab Falcon Technique and proficiency would be 1 so that you could get extra use out of your Against the Darkness. So that's 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you can drop these 3 points here to come down and get insightfulness. This here is better for you because of the increased energy, the increased energy shield and intelligence. These are just unfortunately not the most efficient crit nodes, and you'll more than make up for it with critical exploit. I hate having to say to drop that, but unless you're, honestly, you're rich enough, you probably could get the tech where you go Iron Reflexes and a Jack of all trades with Megalomaniac. That would probably save you a lot more points. You don't need to put your Heroic Tragedy here to get these extra points. You could save another point if you put it here and grab this guy. That is an option. I don't know. I don't want to suggest doing that because it's really expensive tech. It's definitely a natural way to go to increase and improve your efficiency. But first of all, it's just like you're spending too much points here for the decks. Unfortunately, these are great nodes to spend on, 100%. It's just you're sacrificing too much by not coming critical exploit and then through this tree here. And I think that's the first thing. If you want to come in here and get these nodes, I'd say go for the Megalomaniac and From Nothing tech to save literally 17 or 18 points. You won't be able to put your Against the Darkness here, but instead you could bring it up here and then path to Deep Trance for the attack speed and get 4 nodes here, 1, 2, 3, 4 for your Against the Darkness. It's a lot cheaper than other methods, and it will do as much as you were hoping to get here at the very least. And your jewels, honestly, a lot of them, they need to be replaced anyways, so it might end up being kind of an extremely cost-efficient thing for you, as it'll be fewer jewels to replace. I think that's the way for you to go. I think you need to spend the money on that tech. It'll help you out the most. It is expensive for sure, but super helpful. For the most part, though, it looks decent. You have a few issues that need to be cleared up just because you're losing out on a lot, but you're also at a power and strength level that it doesn't matter as much. You probably zoom in pretty fast with, I think you said you have 351 dex, so you're at that really beautiful breakpoint. Actually, no, 375 is the beautiful breakpoint there. So you'll be even wanting to up your dex a bit. You'd probably drop a few int nodes. I'm sure you got, it doesn't tell me what's what in here, but I'm sure you got some int nodes that could be swapped around, and when you come up here to Insightfulness, you'll be getting even more int, so it'll feel even better. I'm actually surprised your dex isn't higher with this, with your 3% increased dex per, but a 4th node will help you hit it for sure, and you'll get that 4th node up here. But yeah, that's everything I got for you. I do like the tree. It's very interesting. I wanted to do exactly like this before, but I really think that in this current state, it's sacrificing too much. If you want to come this way, you're going to need to do the tech to take out these nodes here. Unfortunately, you're going to lose Tainted Strike, and I absolutely adore Tainted Strike. If you can somehow find a way to keep that, do it. If you find a Megalo with Jack of all trades and Tainted Strike, just buy it. That's my favorite node in the game. This thing is nuts. Anyways, that's all I got for you. I hope this helped you out. I hope it did some good, serious work. If you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't, don't. Either way, I appreciate you for putting in the build. This was actually a pretty interesting one with a lot of things that had to be swapped around and changed, a lot of little mistakes, but overall, I think with just a few tweaks, you'll be one billing bosses in no time. Alrighty, see you guys.